Hey guys, welcome back. I was going to work on the Spy Hunter tonight. I wanted to finish up that body work, but my fiberglass resin from last night is still a little sticky. It is really, really humid out. We just had probably another inch of rain. Every day we've been getting like an inch of rain. We get these random storms, and it's so humid out that it's just like everything feels sticky. And I want to let it cure a little bit more. Because I don't want to trap anything that's possibly not dried all the way. So I figured, let's take a look at the power supply for the Space Encounters. Remember last night I was playing with it a little bit, and I blew out this. This is actually a voltage regulator, not a transistor. And then I remembered that I did have another one of these. Okay, now this one I had taken off the 12 volt side. Okay, I believe that's the 12 volt side. So I use this on my Space Invaders because apparently that's what was bad on the Space Invaders. Now, I don't know about the rest of this board, but it's really clean. Okay, all this around, all these diodes and everything look really nice. These are all heated up and been burned at some point. So let's see if we can get this nicer board working rather than this board. Now, I don't know what's wrong with this board, you know what I mean? There could be more than one thing wrong with it. I don't know. You know, we could be going down a rabbit hole here where I don't really know what's bad and what's not. So all we can do is try. We could take this guy off of here and put it on here. My workbench is a disaster right now. Complete disaster. I have got junk everywhere. My garbage can's full. It's like I clean up, and then the next thing I know, I've managed to throw shit everywhere again. I got brand new relays. I got, I don't even know what this is. A 2N668 just laying around. Got some more STR 3123s for K7000s. This is a ceramic resistor for a K7000. Got a hot for a K7000, 1398. Yeah, there's just stuff everywhere. So this I don't believe is bad. This is another LM305. So I'm actually going to put this back in the drawer because I took this out of this power supply last night and replaced it, and it did not seem to make a difference. So we're going to put that back in that drawer because I'm pretty positive it is fine. Now, I was wondering last night if this could be bad. I do have a new one of these, but we can do a comparison test between the two, see if what we get. That's, I guess, a good thing about having two power supplies is we can kind of compare components between one and the other, unless both of them had the same components that are bad, and then you're kind of not getting anywhere. Now, I don't know which of the three legs I have to test, so we're going to test the single one by itself over here with the negative. And so this is reading point, it's going up. Let's see if we can do it on the back side. It's going up, so the leg, now I don't know if I'm doing it the right way. Getting the same readings pretty much either way. So let's go from the center, or the leg that's by itself, I guess you'd say, to the one to the right, and it's saying 6.4, 6.5, 6.6. It's rising. Let's see here. Let's go to the one over here. Am I on the right leg? It's doing the same thing. Check the other leg now. 4.16. Let's check the leg on this one. The left leg, I guess you'd say. 3.78. That one's a little bit higher. You know what? This is -5 volts, I think. I don't know that that's 12 volts, but no, it's got to be a 12 volt because when I looked it up, I ordered more of these and these. And this one is a 5 volt and this one is a 12 volt. So we could swap that over because I believe this one's fine. I'll just, let me put the positive on the center. .618. 0.675. So I would think that this one is good. So we can take that one off. We got the wrong tip on here. We got a big tip on here. I'll tell you what, the traces on these boards suck. But yes, this is the old power supply, or the one that came in the cabinet. This is a new, same thing, but much cleaner. No rust. These have a lot of like spots that are discolored and stuff like that. This other one doesn't have that. So we probably should get the better looking one. Try to get that one up and going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one out. I'm going to drop the nut on the floor because that's what I do. And I can never find it again. So we'll worry about that later. Now this has the plastic guy on here, so we're just going to take this and transfer it right over to the other one. Now I don't know if that transistor on the other side is any good, or voltage regulator. All right, and we need to test the center guy too. We know that that one was good. I put one in there. Haven't checked this one yet. I'll bend these over because the solder pads are so shitty that even the factory bent these guys over and ran them down the trace. Make sure you don't bridge your solder like I just did right now talking. Just bridged it between the two terminals. Now I'm going to have to desolder that. So do a continuity test, make sure the two are not touching. They are not. 0.669, 0.614, so that should be good. Let's test this guy here. Remember, this was weird. Only one leg tested, I think. I forgot how I did it. Did I put my negative on the... Well, they're both reading. They're both reading on there. I mean, on the Space Invaders, maybe I took this one off because it wasn't getting 12 volts. This was years ago. I don't remember. I don't know. I don't know why. I stole a part from here, I know, because I didn't have the part. And I had an extra one of these and I took it off of here. But you would think I would have tried this power supply in Space Invaders, but maybe I didn't. I don't know. I don't remember. Really just don't know. I think the ground goes on the leg with the nipple coming out of the canister, I guess you'd say. Maybe it's the positive. Yeah, it's the positive. So the first pin beeps, which they both do it. I don't know why. Let's go to the second pin. 750. 7, it's climbing. Let's go to the next pin. 0.59, 0.61. This one's actually reading kind of low compared to this one, but I don't know that that's a problem. Have you guys been getting a lot of rain who watch this channel? I'm curious if it's just Ohio or is everybody just getting hammered with rain daily. I don't really get a lot of time to watch the news or anything, so I really don't know what's going on with that, you know, the weather. It's been a really, really wet year for us. So these two are pretty comparable. I'd say they're doing the same thing. Same thing with the 2N, whatever numbers those are. 2N2905A. Those both seem to be doing the same thing. This has had a capacitor replaced there. This is an old capacitor that's pretty. This is the one that came out of the Space Encounters, and it's pretty beat up looking. Just seeing if these are connected and stuff, which they are. Now, I don't know if they make a capacitor kit for these. This one is clearly in much better shape. We could test the diodes. If you're testing diodes, your white stripe side is your negative. And we got 0.608. 0.626, 0.506. You want to be about 5 or above. 0.619, .503, 502, 579. So all those look fine. I think this is one here. There is some black corrosion on this one. It's reading okay. Let's check these little guys here. Now I'm pretty positive this one gets the positive on the center. 836, 824, and then I think it switches on this one. 839, 824. So those seem fine. Just want to see if this makes a noise. We got more diodes on this side. They all read fine. You know what's weird? Is I don't know what this little guy is here. It looks like a diode and it's testing as it's a diode, but the direction of it in this one versus the direction of it in this one's opposite of this one. Why is that? Why would it be in backwards? It's the same power supply. Same part number, same everything. So why would the one be in backwards? That I don't know. I can't answer that. Let's flip the board over now. See, so everything's testing out fine. Stupid. Trying to get a reading on this one. I don't know what it is. It says, I think it's a 0.18 ohm, which would go on ohms, you would think. One point oh. This one's a 0.7, 0.6, 0.7. Same. Okay. Let's flip it over and maybe we can find out for sure which pin on here is 5 volts and which pin is ground so that I know. Everything looks really good on this board, like brand new. Even the big old capacitors look good. So let's see here. What do we got? I'm gonna turn my solder gun off. I left them on the other night. The desoldering gun goes to sleep, but the soldering gun stayed on all night. Good thing I didn't have anything up against it. I got to remember in my head to turn that stuff off. I'm looking for a marker. I don't know where it is. I had it the other day. Oh, I need to clean up. I need to clean this mess up. How did I lose a marker that's been on the counter for days? 4 days. There it is. But right on the back of it, where the 5 volts is and the 12 volts. So if you look carefully on the back of the board, like right here, this middle potentiometer is 12 volts, but I need to see which side is 12 volts. So that could be a little tricky. First off, I want to make sure we have continuity, because that looks screwed up to me right there. So that goes to here. Yes, we do. Just looks a little thin. I think we should put some solder on that. There we go. That looks a little nicer now. I might not be able to tell which side of the potentiometer would be positive, because they wrote it in the middle. You know what? I have my my manual, so we got that out there. We can look at that. Just looking for anything else that's possibly screwed up looking, or maybe a component that would be possibly different from this one to that one. Got another diode right here. Oh, we already checked that one. We checked both of those. Check that one. All the resistors on here look extremely nice. No corrosion, no nothing on any of it. I probably have new ones of these 25 volt 2200 UFs. I got 2200 16s. I'm not going to replace them right now, but I'm just seeing. This is a 2200 16. Got a whole drawer of those, which is not enough. Got to be at least 25 volts. I got 1025. What are these ones? These are 1035s, and I have 1025s. So maybe I don't have them. These big guys are big. They're 20,000 16 volts. I have a 22,000 25 volt. Yeah, I don't have any of them. Oh, excuse me. Okay, I mean, go out there and plug it in, see if we get anything. See if we get 5 volts. If not, I'm kind of at a loss why we're not getting 5 volts, because all the components to me check out okay. So let's go see what happens. So I'll leave the old one in here. There's really no point in having it out there. All right, let's see if we got anything going on or not. Okay, soundboard wiring. Didn't tell me anything. All right. Power supply. Reset is orange. Plus 12 is white and brown. Plus 5 is pure white. I'm a little confused. I don't understand. Is orange and red, it says common. Is that ground? Because I was using that blue wire, but I don't know that that was right. Let's try the orange and red for right now as a common, and thinking that that's ground. Let me see if there's an orange and red anywhere else. Orange and red. Goes to the soundboard. I mean, nowhere on here does it show a ground wire. So I wondered if they called the ground wire back then a common. On a house electricity, you have your line, which is your black, your white is your common, and your copper, regular stripped copper is your ground. I don't know if the orange and red is ground. I really don't. And I just don't think it is. Okay, the blue wire on the soundboard goes to white and green. It's a fused display lights. Okay, so that's definitely not ground. Yellow and black, maybe. Yellow and blue, maybe. That also goes to the lights. Can I just get ground from here? Kind of at a loss, guys. I don't know what the hell is ground. This should be 12 volts, this big fat guy right here. That should be ground. Oh, oh, this maybe. Okay. Why is it reading negative 12? Negative 10.6. What's this guy here? I wonder if that's my 5 volts that's at 7.9. I don't understand why it's reading negative. It just doesn't make sense. This is definitely in my ground because, I don't know, it has a plus there though. But this right here goes to the screw, which grounds that transistor. This is saying 8.0, so let's mess with the 5 volts here. Let's just turn it. I don't even know which way I turned it. 8.3. .7, so I don't know if that's right. I don't know. I'm really at a loss here. None of this is a little bit older than what I'm used to working on, so I'm a little bit confused. If that makes sense to you. Are we putting out 7 volts in the 5 volt line right now because there's nothing on it? Maybe. That's 10.5. That's my 12 volts. Oh, you know what? Maybe we can go off of this without arcing it tonight. 13.5. 18.5. 26.5. Second pin down. Orange and black maybe is my ground. Got an orange and black over here. Nope. I don't know. Just don't know. If I could just find a ground, I might be able to test this shit. But none of it tells me. It really doesn't. Maybe this is the ground right here. There's a negative mark next to it. .4. Let's see what color wire that is. I don't know, it's a black wire. Either black or brown, can't really tell. So if that's negative, that would be black with a white stripe. If. And we have a black with white stripe on this here, which would make sense because we have our 5-volt wires right there. And I'm getting ready to sneeze. Excuse me. Excuse me. You know what? Got a bad fuse holder here. It's probably not helping. One of the legs are about to bust off. I'm like literally just really confused right now. What the hell's what? I mean, I would think that it has a negative next to it. It comes all the way around here, all the way around the outer perimeter, and it goes to this one leg. It's probably -5 because there's a -5 right there. I bet you it's -5. Where does this one go? One side of the capacitor. Okay. Oh, maybe this is my negative here. This is what you have to do sometimes, you know, try to figure this crap out. Since it's positive. Oh, duh. Well, if that's plus 12, that's reading 15.7. I think this says +5. I can't tell. I can't see it. I think this is, so this is plus, if this is +5, it's 18.6, which that can't be it. -5 plus 5, adjust. 15, 15. All right, this is labeled common. Okay, that's labeled common, and the 5 volts looks like it's 4.7. Okay, so can we turn it up on here, because we're all the way down, just to see if it goes up a little bit. Went up a little bit. Now this, the worry of me getting shocked with this, I'm not really worried about it. I mean, I have pants on and I'm not leaning up against anything really. Yeah, I'm touching stuff, but it doesn't really seem to be affecting me. Five, 495. Turn it up a little bit more. I'm gonna crank it and then we'll turn it back just to see if it's actually working. 5.3. I'm gonna say that the 5 volts is working on here. Now, when I plug it in, it doesn't mean it's not gonna crash and not work with the board plugged in. But that's okay. I don't think it'll hurt anything. Okay, 5.1. So now this should be plus 12, or maybe it's, I can't see if it's a plus or a minus. Okay, we're only getting 2.4, so we might not be getting 12 volts unless that's the wrong one. This is -5, I believe. -5 right here. And we're at -5.2. Okay. So this is my plus 12 pot, plus 5 pot, which is reading low, which is fine. I'm getting nothing out of my 12 volts here. 5.1, 5.6. Okay, so I think this board has 5 volts. I don't think we have 12 volts, okay? And that's gonna come over to this guy right here. It's only putting out 2.4 volts. So if I were to guess, I would say that is messed up, which is funny because this is the component that I took out of this board to get my Space Invaders to work. So is this a common failure right here, this guy? It's not the 5 volts, it's the 12 volts that gets screwed up. But the funny thing is the game board itself doesn't look like it uses 12 volts. It looks like the 12 volts goes to the audio board. My back itches. Good back scratcher. So I think the 12 volts only goes to the audio board. But I could be wrong. Let's look here. Soundboard. Motherboard's right here. It would be a white and brown. So we have 5 volts going to the motherboard, -5 going to the motherboard. Yep, we have 12 volts going to the motherboard, white and brown. Funny thing is I don't see it on these here, but there is a 4th plug right here. Is it on here? Yep, white and brown, right there. Okay, so that we know that that's our white and brown. So let me see here. This one says common, and it's coming over to these 2 pins right here, which are yellow and orange and red. Okay, so orange and red. Orange and red. So that should be our ground. And there's our white and browns. And then there's our white, which is our 5 volts. So we're not getting 12 volts, is my guess. So this is our negative. If I can keep it on there. And then this is our 5 volt line. These plugs freaking suck. Yep, 5.1. We have 5 volts. Now let's go over to the 12 volt line here. There's two 12 volt wires. Nothing. So unfortunately, I can't do anything until I get 12 volts. Yeah, it's reading 2.4. And the other one's not even giving a reading. Yep, so we're putting out 2.4 volts. I'm trying to think if I have any more of these boards. So if I were to guess, it's got to be that up there. It has to be. Has to be this one. And that's the one I replaced in the Space Invaders. Just trying to think off the top of my head if I have one. There's some weird thing. Their number is 78M12, which I ordered them. I gotta wait for them to come in. But I get impatient sometimes and just want to kind of figure it out. Now, I don't know if the other power supply was putting out 5 volts or not, because I don't know that I was ever metering the wires correctly. But we did figure it out. We know that our orange and red is, in fact, it's called common, which is ground on here. Our white and brown is our 12 volts, and our white, pure white, is our 5 volts. And then our -5, which we could check that real quick, our -5 is, I think it's this right here, -5, is it brown and white or blue and white? Blue and white, probably. Let's see if we have -5. -4.6. Better source for it that I can grab. Right here is a blue or white and blue. So that would be our positive lead. And our orange and red is our negative. Getting nothing on these wires. Nothing. Unless this is probably boring, but I'm trying to figure this out. What I don't understand is, why is this connector not putting off 5 volts? Why am I not getting 5 volts at this connector? First off, I got the leads backwards. But I'm not getting 5 volts at that connector. Makes no sense. These have to be the worst connectors to try to meter. It's showing 2.1. But over here it shows 5.1. Okay, maybe, I don't know. I don't know. None of the wires look messed up. I'm so lost. Let's see here. We have white and green coming off that fuse. We have white and brown coming from the transformer, going through the fuse, coming out white and green. So, where's our white and green? Where's our white and green? It's right there. Okay. Second one down at the end right here. Okay. All right, so the fuse holder is still working. Is it broke? Yes, but it is still getting continuity through it. Okay. Because we can go all the way up to here and we got continuity. So this other side here is blue, comes out, looks like one black and one blue. So let's see where that goes. There's a blue one right here, which is the third one down on the end. 1, 2, 3. Let's go to here. Okay, so maybe that's not it. Make sure this is good. Okay, so maybe it's not that blue. Maybe it goes to black, which there are. Is that solid black? Solid black. Which way does it go? Solid black goes this way, that way. So then our blue also goes this way. So that must go towards the coin door, would be my guess. Yeah, that must be for the coin door. But that fuse is also good. So what I don't understand is these 3 wires right here plug in here. These 2 fat white ones are definitely 5 volts. They definitely seem like they're 5 volts, but they're not. There's no 5 volts coming out of it. Let me see if I can kind of tell where they go. These 2 fat white ones right here. And it looks like one of them goes this way. The other one goes that way. So we have one going this way to this plug and one going the other way. Well, we don't have 12 volts, but we can plug the boards in and I can test and see if we have some power at the boards. I don't know. It's making absolutely no sense to me. It's definitely not normal. Whatever the hell's going on here. Okay, I don't think, we definitely don't have 12 volts. We had it before. But we definitely don't have 12 volts right now. But do we have any 5 volts? I don't know, guys. I'm freaking 1000% lost. Oh, you know what? I didn't plug that in. Just heard something click. Coin door, maybe? I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like defeated. Like I don't understand what is so weird about this. Because now we're not getting 5 volts. But it's plugged in. So, I mean, the board could be drawing the power down because there's something bad on the board. It says 4.9 over here. I guess we could always start with, once I get 12 volts working, taking the board apart, cleaning all the connectors and everything, and maybe I'm just not getting any sort of a connection. I don't know. But the thing is we're not getting 12 volts. We were with the other power supply, but we weren't getting 5 volts with the other power supply. This one's putting out 5 volts, but not putting out 12 volts. 4.9, and the 12 volt line is dead. And the 12 volt line comes into here, comes around here and goes over to here, which is a resistor, which goes through the resistor, which goes through that resistor, comes out here maybe, comes over to this guy. It does come over to this 3-leg guy here, this 2N guy right there. $12.4, 13. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait for that part, unfortunately. And then start taking stuff apart and see why the hell, what's going on with the 5 volts. I don't understand it. Makes 0 sense to me. Stupid bugs. This is orange and red right here. That should be my ground. I don't understand. I know those chips need to be taken out and cleaned and stuff, but you would think for sure I should be able to meter on the board 12 volts and 5 volts. I could try one of those chips in the back there, see if I get anything. Oh. Just sucks because there's no test points anywhere. All right, I'm gonna do one more thing here so we can rule this out. It is not turned on. We're gonna run a continuity test from the back of the board to there, because we'll know if it goes through this connector here, if we're making contact or not. So let's put our black, it doesn't matter which lead, but we'll put our black one on our common, which is our ground, which is orange and red. Okay, so you got connection through that connector to there and over to there. Is that orange and red? I can't tell. Oh, it's, what is it right here? Orange and red. Where are you? Orange and red's right here. Okay, so we have continuity through there, through the plug, through the wires to the board with our common. Now let's do 12 volts, which is white and brown. Got continuity. And continuity should be 2 here. And we got both. This one I don't think has a white and brown. No, it does not. Okay, so let's go to our 5 volts, which is pure white, and it's a fat wire. Looks like we got nothing on this one. Okay, am I on the right one? Pretty sure it's 5 volts. Let me double check here. No, it's not the right one. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. Yes. So that's our 5-volt line. Let's double check here. It goes to the first 2 pins here. Yep. Okay, so that's our 5 volts. Nothing. Okay, there's problem number 1. We do not have continuity through this connector for 5 volts. That's why we're not getting a reading on those wires. Seems to be okay. I'm gonna go get a pick tool so we can tighten that connector up inside. All right, let's unplug this again. At least we know now that we're not getting 5 volts through this plug. It's just not making it there. Let's make sure that it's making it to the pin, which is right here. So let's put back on continuity. Let me stick my lead on the, oh wait, not on common. We'll put our lead on 5-volt line here. I don't want to just go to this side because obviously it's going to beep. Okay, so it's beeping. First thing I'm doing is I'm taking this pick tool inside that connector and kind of scraping it up in there. Should have brought my tools out here. Molex pin extractors, I guess you'd call them. Okay, I got it to bend in. Now we got it. At least over to that one. The hell? Oh, I'll bet you. I wonder if it goes in here, comes out here, goes this way, and feeds it into there. That would make sense. So if I turn it on, in theory, we should have 5 volts at the board now. And still nothing. Oh, there we go. Ay, ay, ay. I mean, in theory, it should go through on it without it powered on. I mean, it all should be connected as to one circuit, you would think. Let's see if it goes from here to here. It does. Does it go over to here? No. From here to here? No. But it goes from here to here. So we do have connection there. And we have connection there. Now, if this one guy over here is bad, okay, no, that was right. This wasn't bad. Wait, this came out of the other one. Yeah, I'm not sure. But I mean, we're getting 5 volts at the power supply, but then we lose it. I don't know why. I just don't know yet. I'm gonna figure this out. 4.9. Nothing. Goes this way. It's this guy right here. Goes up to here. It's the top one here. And then the bottom, the second one down, goes here. And then it heads to which way? Heads this way, up to there. Okay? So, how does it make it to there? Comes down here. It's right here. It's right here. It's right here. That's the top one. Okay, so this one goes from here, this top one here, looks like it goes to there. So then this one has to be feeding, but it's going to there. It's like we're missing a wire. And the thing is like on the back of here, these two terminals here are both 5 volts. And if you look here, this plug, we're missing a 5 volt line. Well, there's nothing in there next to the white. Can I find that plug on this power supply? Motherboard, soundboard, power supply. It's only showing one coming off of it. Pin number 21. Pin number 1 is blue and white, which I don't know if that's correct or not. Pin numbers 2 and 3 are 12 volts. Okay, they're only using pin 3 for 12 volts. I'm sorry, pin 2. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21. Yes. 21 is 5 volts. It is not showing 22 being used. Okay, so it just has one white wire coming out of the power supply, going to the motherboard, PCB, okay? And then it says 1 and 2, okay? Here's 1 and 2. But then it's not showing me where it comes out at, or where it goes to. Let's see, does the soundboard have 5 volts? It has to. It would be on the 12-pin connector, and it would be pin number 1 to +5, pin 1 and 2 of game board. So it's saying that it goes from here down, which we've already established that, over to 1 and 2 on the game board. Okay, so that is hooked up. So now we have to go over to this other board, which is, I don't know if they call that the, you would think that was just the main logic board right here. Let's see here. Our 3 connectors are here. And then we have a single connector over here, which is that guy. And it's thundering, it's gonna rain again. Our white wire showing pin 1 and 2. It's only on pin 1. 2 has a white and black wire. So the white wire's coming there, and it's going to the strobe and explosion light board. The white, okay, so it's going from pin 1, pin 2 is the white and black. The white and black is going up to the explosion board right here, the explosion light board. Stupid mosquitoes, get out of my face. But what I don't understand is why are we not getting a connection from here to there? And why are we not getting 5 volts when we turn it on? Is it because of, you know, one of these voltage regulators are bad and it causes it not to put out 5 volts under load? That could be. So I guess I shouldn't worry about that right now until we get more parts. But why do I not get continuity over to that? That's the most puzzling part about it, is why don't I get continuity? Watch, I will now. See, nothing to there. Nothing. Nothing. Oh, I'm on the wrong lead. So we have continuity there, continuity there, continuity there, but no continuity to that one. In theory, this one, well, with what I can see, goes to this top terminal right here. But why is it not putting out continuity? That is so odd. Is it, you know, could this pin just be bent so badly that it's not making contact with the pin? Yes, could be. Might have to just sit here and reconnect everything, repin everything. See how flat that is? Well, you probably can't see because I'm not really zoomed in tonight. So I'm going to bend that prong out real far. We're going to stick this back in here. Lock it in, and we're going to plug it back in and see now if we have it connection or not. Now we have connection. So we have wires that are not making contact really well, which I get it. I understand. Just want to see if this thing will fire up. We can always repin all this stuff and fix all that. But we have to make sure that everything does in fact work before we do that. Let's go to the ground wire, which is our orange and red. And let's see if we have continuity to the power supply, which we do. Okay, so let me stick it back on here. Let's go to here, orange and red. We have continuity. Let's go to orange and red over here. We have continuity. So we have good connections there. And I believe our 12 volts was good. Which is our white and brown. Oh, that's white and black. That's not it either. Where are you at, guy? It's white and yellow, white and black. Oh, you know what? I don't think there's 12 volts on that side. Is there? No, I think it's on the other part. Okay, we have it there. I think it's over here. It's right here. Okay, so we now have 12 volts continuity all the way through. We have ground all the way through. And let's check our 5 volts one more time. Okay, we've established now we have good connections throughout all the boards. But we're still going to lose 5 volts, I guarantee it. We have exact 5 volts at the power supply. It's only showing 0.5 at the board. So I'm going to say that this power supply is not putting out 5 volts. Now, whether or not it's because of one of those other components, we're going to have to wait and see. But now I feel a little bit more confident. It gets frustrating. It gets hard to where, like, you just don't understand, like, what's going on. Like, why is this not working, you know? And you got to kind of just work through it. But now I know that we have good power everywhere. Or not power, but connections everywhere. I'm not going to unplug these anymore for now. We're going to leave them plugged in. And we're going to work on the power supply when these parts come. And see if we can't get 5 volts and 12 volts to come out of this thing. I mean, we clearly have it at the board. But as soon as it starts getting something, you know, going, it loses it. Or maybe I should unplug this. Let me think here. The main power feeds. Let's check one more time. Maybe I am gonna unplug something before I quit for the night. So we have our 5 volts coming from here. I gotta find it coming out of here. Let's see which way it's going again. It's right here. Okay, so where the hell is this one going? Okay, this is going to here. So let's just unplug this one. Let's turn it back on real quick and let's see if we have 5 volts. I'm going to use the ground on here just because it's easy to access. Then I'm going to get my ass in the house before I get rained on. .1. Okay. As soon as I plug this board in, gone. No voltage. So basically the voltage comes from here, runs through this power supply, comes into here, gets plugged into this board, goes from this board, through this connector. This connector feeds to that. So probably something wrong on the board set, or still could be power supply. You know what I mean? Right now there's no load on the power supply because my 5 volts is not plugged into anything because this is the main 5 volts in. Once this gets plugged in, 5 volts is fed through the board, comes out of the board, and goes to other components. So as soon as I plug this in, we're going to lose 5 volts now. And once again, is that from the board problem or because of the power supply? That I don't know yet. 0.6. So there you have it. So I feel a little bit more confident now. I know what's going on. We're gonna have to yank this board out, pull the socket chips out. If I were to guess, I'm gonna say that as soon as this goes under load, it loses 5 volts because the 12 volts is not working. So I'm gonna say those are probably connected together in some way on here. So I would guess that if we can get 12 volts coming out of here, we're gonna get 5 volts coming out of here, and then we might be all right. So we'll do that first, we'll try it, and if it still knocks it down when we plug in the board set, then we know for sure something is shorting out on the board to cause it to do that. The board is a little dirty, but it's not in horrible shape. I've powered up boards and had boards work that were way worse than this. So I'm betting it's the power supply. So hopefully, I know this is a very boring video and it's just kind of staring at the ground, but I kind of want to go over that stuff. In my head, I need to kind of get prepared for what I need to look at. Now, I'm not going to work on this tonight, but I just felt it a little bit ago and it is now officially dry. No more stickiness, so we are good. I'm going to try to work on it tomorrow night. I'm not sure. I have to run to Erie and pick up a free TV or a $5 TV, and I might try to go look at those games at the warehouse. If I do, depending on the guy, if he lets me record or not. I think there's only like 20 games left in there. There was a lot in there, and the guys took most of them. So I'm sure what's left is probably not real good, but we'll take a look. You never know, man. You just never know. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I probably just bored the ever-living hell out of you, but this is what it takes to figure this stuff out. You know what I mean? You have to just sit there and just go over it and over it and over it to make sure that it wasn't transferring 5 volts from one board to the other because the pin was sprung. The pin was basically just smushed together and it wasn't making contact with the pin on the board. And I'm sure there's probably more than that are gonna do that. So we'll probably, once we get this thing working, the edge connectors themselves, the plastic itself is fine. They're not burned up, there's nothing wrong with them. The pins inside, what happens is over years and years, I mean, you're talking what, 1980, 79, 80, whatever this game came out, you're talking however long this game ran for, which who knows, it could only ran until 1984 and been put in a barn. I don't know, but it has quite a bit of plays on it. So what happens is those pins, they're very thin metal, very, very thin metal. And they get hot, cold, hot, cold. Well, they expand, they contract, they expand, they contract. And what happens is they lose the spring. Their springiness wears out from heating and cooling so many times. And eventually they just kind of just collapse down. And then they stop making contact on the pin on the board. And that, as you guys can see, that's what happened with the 5 volt line. So we will probably have to repin everything. Sometimes you could take them out, like I did with that one, and bend it outwards and put it back in, and it'll work for a while. And sometimes it'll fail, but I did it on my Space Invaders. I did bend them back out rather than replacing them all, and knock on wood, it's still been good. So maybe we'll try that method first because it's a little bit easier than having to repin them all. But we'll see what happens. But if we're gonna pop them out and spring them back, we'll probably clean them with a little fiberglass pen and then put them back in there, and then we know we have nice, clean, non-oxidized metal, and we'll clean all the pins on the boards themselves. Make sure there's no oxidation on there because those pins like to get it's like a real light grayish white film on them, and that's oxidation on the metal. And once you have two oxidated pieces touching each other, you're not always making contact. It could be a hit or miss. It could spark, not spark, spark, not spark. Same thing with a car battery. When you start getting that white corrosion, Ford's famous for that. You get white corrosion around your negative lead on your battery, sometimes the positive, but you'll get that white corrosion and it'll get so bad that even though that terminal is on there and it's tight, it's no longer making connection because that white corrosion has now formed a barrier between the two pieces of metal. So now it's almost like taking that terminal off your battery and wrapping a layer of electrical tape around it and then putting it back on. You don't have metal to metal contact, so you're not making contact. Same thing happens with this. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Hopefully you hung in there, because this is probably a good hour long of me basically talking and saying, what the hell, I don't understand this. But I do that sometimes. I'm not mad or anything like that. It's not like I'm getting mad. I get a little frustrated because I can't figure out something, but I ended up figuring it out in the end. You always end up figuring it out if you just stick with it. Sometimes you gotta just let it go for a day or two and then come back. Now, unfortunately, now it's in my head and I know what's going on. Hopefully those parts show up in a few days and we can see if we can get this thing running. So thanks, guys. I'll see you guys later.